Welcome to Cine Series Recap. In modern-day Tokyo, Father Yuichi spends his time at his unconscious son's side following an event in which the youngster was thrown from a roof. Yuichi's father, the older, also pays a visit, but he is harsh rather than helpful, wondering where he was when his son needed him. Yuichi subsequently retrieves his gun, determining it's time for vengeance. Meanwhile, an unfortunate American mercenary walks the city streets while on the phone with his handler Maria, who gives him the moniker Ladybug as a parody of his bad luck.
Ladybug?
Your new operational name?
Ladybug?
The task is straightforward. He must board the bullet train and take a peculiar briefcase with a sticker on the handle. This mission was scheduled to go to another mercenary named Carver, but he couldn't make it due to illness. Ladybug accidentally runs with Yuichi at the station, causing him to drop his locker key and ticket without realizing it. Ladybug, fortunately, knows how to pick locks and opens the locker nevertheless, gaining access to the sleeping powder he had asked but refuses to take the pistol. He must persuade the conductor to let him aboard with just the receipt, but Yuichi boards without incident and follows the instructions in a message handed to him by the guy who attempted to murder his kid. But he discovers a young, gorgeous girl on the bench, and Yuichi believes he has done something wrong until the girl tases him. This is Prince, a young lady who commits atrocities while posing as an innocent girl. Ladybug finds the suitcase on the baggage rack at the end of the carriage after following Maria's instructions through an earpiece, unaware that it belongs to a pair of assassin brothers called Tangerine and Lemon, who are also aboard. Lemon, who is infatuated with Thomas the Tank Engine analogy and even carries a sheet of Thomas stickers with him, is responsible for the sticker on the suitcase. The siblings aren't just come to guard the suitcase, they've also abducted the son of White Death, the most feared mafia lord. He hired the brothers to keep his kid out of danger and return him to his father with the suitcase containing the ransom money due to him by White Death's adversaries. Tangerine receives regular phone calls from their handler to ensure that everything is in order, but when Lemon double-checks the rack, he realizes that the suitcase has vanished. Lemon is unconcerned since he believes that bringing the son alive is the most crucial element of the task.
Well, it's not anymore.
We need to find the person who took that case.
So Tangerine must give him the entire White Death narrative to make him understand. The Japanese underworld was formerly dominated by a guy named Yuichi, who was famed for both his cruelty and devotion. A former Russian mafia member joined Yuichi's clan and worked his way up the ranks until he became an advisor. The other counselors did not trust him and sought to warn Yuichi, but he would not listen, and this decision proved to be his undoing. The Russian guy, known as the White Death, formed his own gang and murdered Yuichi and all of his men in a single night.
The empire worthy of the White Death.
He's now recognized as a soulless insane assassin in control of the world's greatest criminal organization, despite the fact that he hasn't left his complex since his wife was killed in a car accident. This is why, rather than bringing his kid himself, he hired the brothers. He wanted the pros who worked on the infamous Bolivia operation.
Oh, he asked for the best. He asked for the two responsible for the Bolivia job.
They must get the briefcase quickly, but when they return to the son to explain the change of plans, the siblings discover that things have deteriorated significantly. The son is dead, and whatever killed him has left him bleeding from the eyes. Returning to Yuichi, he eventually awakens to find Prince has rigged his rifle. She also has a henchman in the hospital, so if Yuichi murders her, his kid will perish as well. Prince knows Yuichi works for the White Death, and he handed a suitcase to one of White Death's accomplices 2 days ago, which is when she realized her opportunity. If she followed the bag, she could discover the White Death. Yuichi is here because Prince has asked him to fight White Death for her. Meanwhile, Ladybug has fled to another compartment and is preparing to exit the train at the next station, but the door is barred by the Wolf, a mercenary who worked for a deadly Mexican gang. He accidentally spilt his glass of wine weeks before his wedding, and the delay in drinking saved his life. His wife and all the guests perished of whatever poisoned their drinks, leaving their eyes bleeding. Wolf was informed that the guy responsible for those fatalities was on the train and had arrived to exact his retribution. A struggle breaks out between the two mercenaries, leading them to the train's bar, where Wolf manages to stab Ladybug only for his phone to be damaged. After trading a few more blows, Wolf throws his knife at Ladybug, but because he is shielded by the briefcase, the knife bounces and stabs Wolf instead. The train is approaching another stop, so the brothers clean up the sun and disguise his face with some amusing glasses before returning the bag. Lemon stands watch at a door, checking each passenger as they go, and Ladybug notices him as he prepares to depart, recalling Lemon as the man who tried to assassinate him on a mission a few years ago. Ladybug goes past the other compartments and collides with the train's mascot, who tries to seize the briefcase from him because he can't use this exit. Ladybug dashes to the next exit after punching its lovely face, but it's too late. The doors have closed and the train has taken off again. Next, Ladybug returns to the bar, conceals the briefcase, and grabs Wolf's phone to contact Maria, who verifies the story. The goal of the wedding assassination was to get Wolf's employer, and everyone else fell for the same reason. Ladybug had infiltrated that wedding as a waiter, and had mistakenly caused Wolf to spill his glass, but he hadn't been the one responsible for the killings. Ladybug spots Tangerine hunting for the briefcase and chooses to hide in the baggage rack while she mulls over what to do next.
Some fresh air.
Your orders were to stay on the train.
I didn't realize I was getting a back.
Tangerine sees him, but fortunately, he doesn't identify him from that earlier assignment and continues on. Tangerine then runs into Prince and Yuichi, and when Tangerine asks if they've seen the suitcase, Prince repeats him Ladybug's description, because she saw him dash by earlier. Meanwhile, Lemon returns to his seat, just in time for Ladybug to sit across from him, after getting a text from his brother with the description. Ladybug doesn't want to meddle with dangerous individuals, so he proposes a deal. If they don't murder him, he'll return the briefcase. Lemon would accept, but he doesn't want to play nice after Ladybug murdered someone. He's referring to the sun, but Ladybug thinks he's referring to Wolf. Lemon, still hooked on railway analogies, refers to Ladybug as his diesel and attacks him, but Ladybug manages to knock Lemon unconscious before he can fire his pistol. Next, he stuffs sleeping powder into Lemon's water bottle, conceals the rifle in the baggage rack, and discovers Sun's body, which has the same bleeding eyes as the individuals at Wolf's wedding. Meanwhile, Tangerine returns to the compartment. Ladybug snatches Lemon's phone and flees as he contacts Maria to alert her that someone else on the train besides him and the siblings is working, since it can't be a coincidence that Wolf's family and the son were both killed in the same way. Ladybug attempts to cover the door between them with baggage while talking, which prompts him to accidentally unlock a cage containing a snake stolen from the zoo a few days before. The son's bleeding effects are caused by the venom of this snake. Tangerine resumes his quest for Ladybug after discovering Lemon comatose on his seat, who is now attempting to hide from the conductor because he should have already gotten off. Ladybug approaches the passenger and offers him money to switch clothing, knowing Tangerine is chasing him. Tangerine arrives late and accidentally approaches the passenger, allowing Ladybug to flee. Meanwhile, Prince and Yuichi visit the pub in search of the briefcase. They then hide in the restroom, where Yuichi receives a phone call from the elder, which Prince orders him to put on speaker. The elder questions Yuichi about why he left the hospital, and Prince tells him to be truthful, so Yuichi reveals he's here to get retribution. The elder is disappointed to hear this, but Prince cuts him off before he can respond. Yuichi will now remain in the restroom, attempting every possible combination until he opens the briefcase, while Prince remains outside, maintaining the naive girl act. She also disposes of Yuichi's phone to avoid more distractions. Tangerine returns to his brother's side and awakens Lemon, who is beginning to suspect Ladybug did not murder the son. Their conversation is cut short by a phone call advising them that instead of traveling to Kyoto, the brothers must get off at the next station with the boy and the briefcase. A crew of Yakuza criminals awaits them, but the siblings already understand it's a trap and devise a strategy. Tangerine exits alone and informs the henchman that he is a professional who will not fall for cheap tactics, so Lemon remains inside protecting the suitcase and the son, who is now waving through the window as Lemon directs his movements like a puppet. Fortunately, they purchase it, and Tangerine is able to return in one piece, so the brothers must now split up and search both ends of the train for Ladybug. Tangerine lends Lemon his rifle as extra protection before departing. Once they've left, Prince returns to check on the son, spitting in his face when she discovers he's dead. Then she returns to the restroom, where Yuichi has finally opened the briefcase. Nevertheless, Prince isn't interested in the money. She only wants to set a bomb inside so that when White Death opens it, it would kill him. It's the same method she used to rig Yuichi's gun, inspired by the fact that every time someone tried to assassinate White Death, he murdered them with their own weapons in retaliation. Meanwhile, Ladybug is hiding in another restroom as Maria tells how a prominent physician who worked on criminals was slain in the middle of an operation by the same eye-bleeding poison. The assassin's name is Hornet, and Ladybug must find them and deliver them up to the siblings in order to save his own life. Using Lemon's phone proves to be a poor idea as Tangerine uses the tracking software to locate Ladybug in the restroom. Another struggle begins, and both assassins trade blows until Tangerine needs to take a call from White Death's henchman.
Yeah, what you want?
The White Death says to get off at next stop, holding the briefcase or he will kill everyone on that train.
Okay, yeah, I can make...
This time, he's warned to get off at the next station with the briefcase or everyone on the train would perish. Tangerine is at a loss for what to do, but Ladybug devises a strategy because the criminals have no idea who Lemon is. Ladybug will pose as him. The boys get off at the next stop with a random briefcase they took, but their scheme backfires when the suitcase accidentally opens, revealing that it isn't the one containing the money. Thankfully, before White Death's thugs can apprehend them, Ladybug and Tangerine dash back inside just before the train departs again. While sipping his water, Lemon is still hunting for Ladybug when he runs across Prince, who plays the innocent girl card once more when asked about a strange man with a case. Lemon, on the other hand, does not trust her since she expressly recalls not seeing a suitcase, and he never used that phrase, implying that she is his fuel. Lemon shoots Yuichi, and then hides the body in the bathroom to force them to talk. Lemon then turns on Prince, but the sleeping powder takes effect and he goes out, so Prince snatches his revolver and kills him before concealing him in the bathroom as well. Ladybug informs Tangerine where he buried the briefcase and wants to get off at the next stop, but Tangerine refuses since he still needs a fall man. Ladybug throws Tangerine off the train just as it starts off again. But this isn't enough. Tangerine races after the train and gets on its tail, then breaks a window to get back inside. Meanwhile, Ladybug switches trains and discovers Yuichi's phone as it calls. The elder calls Ladybug to check on his kid, but she hangs up after advising him to use the monitoring app. He then returns to the bar and, after finding the rigged suitcase exactly where he left it, examines Wolf's body again for clues. He's come to murder the Hornet, who has been hidden inside the mascot costume all this time, and she was the one who killed the son. She also slipped into the wedding by posing as the cook. Hornet, on the other hand, discovers Ladybug first, approaching him after stealing the uniform from a trolley employee. Horny starts a new battle by explaining that she was promised the money from the suitcase before stabbing Ladybug with a poisoned needle. Ladybug promptly snatches the syringe and stabs her, forcing Hornet to take out the antidote in the hopes of treating herself. Ladybug, on the other hand, snatches it for himself and abandons her to die. Returning to Tangerine, he discovers the bathroom with the knotted doorknob and opens it to discover his brother's body. He removes his necklace and wraps it around Lemon's neck before grabbing the rifle from Yuichi's grip. Ready to exact retribution. He then contacts White Death and tells him to meet him at the end of the Kyoto line because he has to quit being a coward. He isn't worried about the train exploding because he can't murder all of the people. But White Death reveals that he knows only the mercenaries are remaining on board and that all of the civilians have already gotten off because he purchased all of the tickets himself. Tangerine comes across Prince after White Death hangs up, who pretends to be an innocent girl again in tears while making up some narrative. Tangerine first believes her, but as Prince turns around, Tangerine finds a sticker of the character Diesel that Lemon placed on her back before he was shot. Tangerine discovers Prince has always been the evil guy and attempts to shoot her, but Ladybug arrives and believes Prince's crocodile tears, so he leaps on Tangerine to stop him. Tangerine is killed when the pistol is unintentionally discharged during the fight. Ladybug pledges to guard the child as the train approaches the next station. Since Prince has to go to the end of the line, she pretends her luggage is stuck and begs Ladybug not to leave her alone because she's terrified, and Ladybug loses his chance to flee once more. Ladybug may have fled, but someone did get in, the Elder, who followed the tracking app's recommendations. He remembers Prince's voice from when she interrupted his chat with Yuichi and sits across from them as soon as he passes by. Ladybug tries to take the rifle that Prince claims she discovered lying about, only to be bitten by the snake. Panicking, He rushes to the bathroom to flush the snake. But he survives since the antidote is still active. Meanwhile, the elder snatches Prince's bag and recognizes she's the one who pushed his grandson from the roof, so Prince says she needs Yuichi's aid killing the White Death. And it was the only way to get him on the train. She attempts to insinuate that Yuichi and his kid are both dead, but the elder isn't fooled. He left a bodyguard at the hospital, and she's already slain Prince's henchman.
My grandson is safe.
As she realizes she no longer has the upper hand, Prince rushes to another carriage, while Ladybug returns to sit with the elder,
Myself.
who chooses to narrate his story. The elder made a pledge to provide for his family no matter what when he was a young man, which is why he became a significant member of Minjishi's criminal family. He was one of the counselors who had warned Minjishi about the White Death, but had been disregarded, and he had only lived because fate wanted him to. When the elder got home, he saw his wife dead in the house ruined, with Yuichi as the sole survivor. Following that, he went into hiding and focused on finding a means to get retribution without endangering his kid, but White Death remained elusive. The elder, on the other hand, believes fate has placed White Death in his path by directing him to the train. The guys agree to collaborate and proceed to the restroom,
Mr. Ladybug?
where they discover Yuichi is okay because the bullet did not damage any organs, and Lemon is also fine because his bulletproof vest caught Prince's rounds. As he discovers the necklace around his neck, his mood plummets. Lemon goes after Ladybug and Yuichi after saying his goodbyes to Tangerine's body. The elder interrupts him, telling him that if they are to survive the White Death, they must work together. The train arrives in Kyoto moments later, where the White Death awaits with his army of assassins. Ladybug appears with the suitcase, aiming to buy the squad some time, and the henchmen apprehend him before bickering over who gets to open the briefcase and inspect its contents. Meanwhile, the White Death boards the train and meets Prince, who turns out to be the White Death's daughter. He had always desired a boy, which is why she was given that moniker, which she despised. She also despised her younger brother for attracting all of their father's attention as the heir while being a worthless loser. Prince has built her career as a mercenary on nothing, and now she's come to show her father who she truly is. White Death takes the rigged pistol from her as she expected, but he doesn't murder her, stating he's always seen her but she's never been part of his plan. When Lemon investigates the control room and attempts to figure out how it works, White Death goes to check on the status of the bag and verifies Ladybug's theory. He hired all of the assassins on the train and expected them to murder each other. That was all part of White Death's plot to exact revenge on his wife. The siblings' Bolivia assignment had consisted of murdering a large bunch of White Death's crew, so he had to fly there to take care of it while leaving his wife alone. It should have been him in the automobile that night, since it wasn't an accident. It was an assassination attempt on his life. If the gang's physician had been available, she may have lived, but Hornet had already killed him. The sun had gone down because he had gotten into problems again, and his wife had jumped in the car to assist him, and Ladybug had been brought here by mistake. White Death had wanted Carver because he had been the mercenary that killed his wife. The henchmen eventually unlock the suitcase, and the bomb goes off before Ladybug can explain the situation. Yuichi and the elders start fighting the thugs hunting for the dead, and Lemon is eventually able to restart the train. Ladybug, White Death, and more of his gang are thrown onto the train before it sets off, and they now join the fight. The elder fights the White Death hand-to-hand and nearly loses.
Ruled by strength. You're ruled by fear. Fear of the one thing deep down you cannot control.
But Yuichi rushes to his rescue and knocks White Death back by hurling a water bottle in his face. This allows the elder to finish him out with his sword. Meanwhile, Ladybug arrives at the control room and attempts to assist Lemon in finding the brakes while battling the henchmen pursuing them, but Lemon sacrifices himself to throw the final gangster off the train, tumbling into the ocean with him. Ladybug tries to press the brakes by cutting some cables, which causes the train to derail and smash into downtown Kyoto. The Elder and Yuichi save themselves by clinging to a seat, while Ladybug lives by falling on the soft mascot suit. They realize White Death is still alive as they get off the train, but he falls for the Prince's fixed pistol and dies anyhow. The three believes they may go now, but Prince appears next, eager to take the moniker of White Death, only to be driven down by a truck loaded with tangerines. Lemon had just swum out of the river and was sprinting down the road when he noticed the orange vehicle and thought it was a signal. As retaliation for stealing the truck, he used it to murder Prince. Ladybug notices a luxury automobile arriving after Yuichi, and the Elder have left and is surprised to learn that Maria has arrived to fetch him up. However, she is struck by Ladybug's bad luck right away, and her automobile is damaged by a falling lamppost. As we conclude this video, I want to express my gratitude for your time and attention. If you enjoyed the content and would like to see more, consider subscribing and tapping that notification bell.